Ini parah nih.
Episode 2. Oh yeah, there it is. Alright, episode 2, man. So I feel like last time we really dove deep into the stuff that you were all about. And
agreed.
You know, we talked about how you had like several jobs at one point at the same time, which I thought was pretty crazy. How much of a hard-working person you are, you know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But let's get into a little bit about the things that you've seen and what you've done. You know, like I know you've seen things and valet for experience. How many cars have you driven in your lifetime? Like that had to be a great experience.
It's not only how many.
Man.
Yeah, it's not about how many cars I drove. It's about the fact that I was 17 driving these cars.
Exactly, like a young kid.
So I pretty much had to lie on the resume and say that I was 18, even though I wasn't. And I also said that I knew how to drive stick shift, which I had no idea how to drive stick shift. Not even a little bit.
I would have been so mad if
not
you drove
even a little bit. Oh my god! If you could only smell the clutches, like the smell of burnt clutch.
So would you say you learned how to drive stick?
At that job. Yeah, at that job, at the expense of somebody's car, man. I remember it was a little Toyota Corolla.
At least it was a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, easy clutch, man, easy in and out. So I was able to learn on that. And I pretty much, after a couple months of being there, they let you drive the expensive cars. And
again, this was a different time when you could easily lie about your age.
I feel like nowadays they make you do like 30 background checks and applications and stuff.
So, training videos.
Yeah. There it was just like show up, sign the paperwork, or you bought it, and boom.
Yeah, a lot of under the table jobs too at the time.
I mean, you talk about downtown Miami in like 2013, 2012. Like it was just, there was so much sketchy money moving around.
Yeah, a lot of sketchy stuff.
At that time.
But that was like when Miami was at its like busiest when it came to like hotels and clubs over there and beaches. Like everybody was always driving around wanting to go to Fat Tuesdays or something like that.
We were right in front of the, you know where Bayside is?
Yeah.
Right, where
I worked at Bayside on the boat.
That's right.
We were like down the street from each other. We never
had no idea, man.
We were always meant to be.
Small world. Right in front of the American Airlines Arena. I think they call it something else now, but right
you were right down the street there, and then I was right there by the Hotel Marriott, Seafair, Miami.
Oh shit, man. Literally like blocks.
Just across the park? Literally
blocks from each other. Basically, whenever there was a Miami Heat game or something, we had to work the outside.
I hated when there was a Miami Heat game.
Yeah, I know. And this goes back to my horrible management of cash registers. Like, if I could tell you one story from that time, is I was in charge of the register, and then the parking spots outside. It was 6 parking spots. That's all I had to worry about. 6 parking spots. How could you mess that up? I'm about to tell you, right? So 6 parking spots, and we had to charge $60 per spot.
Okay.
Right? No problem. $60 per spot because it was an event. And you're literally right in front of the arena, so like, dude, your car is safe.
Yeah.
So it was $60, and we park your car right in our little lot, or you could pay. And this is where there's like a gray area. It was on paper, it was like $90, but you could be whatever you want it to be, and then I'll leave your car right here in the front, like right where you just parked it. It stays right there. So that was like reserved occupancy for the expensive cars. So that way, other people that see expensive cars want to park there, right? Because that one's getting taken care of, then might as well too. Man, I don't know what happened. By the end of the night, I was short $600, and I was like, dude, I what? Like, I don't make that. I didn't make that at the time in like 2 weeks. I don't know what the hell to do with like $600. How do I owe $600? It made no sense because.
Did you have to pay that out of your pocket?
Listen, all right. I ended up having to give all the tips that I thought I had made that night. Gave all that out of my pocket. So
which was about how much you.
I gave like $350 out of my pocket in what I would have made that night in tips. And then the rest, we just like made the paperwork work. I had to call my supervisor, and this dude was like, why? What?
What happened?
Like, what?
Let me guess, you were never working the register again there, huh?
Holy crap, no. For some reason after that, I always had somebody else there with me. I didn't know why. Well, I guess I got somebody to talk to now, but Jesus,
there's always somebody. They weren't giving you a friend, honey.
apply the buddy system after me there.
Like, make sure you're counting over his shoulders. His math doesn't add up. Right?
But one time I remember I was sitting out there, and it was during the day on no event. So at that point, you're only charging for the people that come to eat at the restaurants and stuff.
Yeah, so like 15, 20 bucks.
Yeah, you're not really making that much. And I remember I saw this like homeless dude looking in like the sewer drains for money. Like, well, I didn't know he was looking for money, but he was like looking in there. And I'm like, look at this motherfucker. I'm like, yo, I don't care what amount of money is in there. I'm not sticking my hand in a fucking sewage drain. Babe, I swear to God, as I say that, I look down at the sewage drain that I'm sitting over, and there was a $20 bill in that bit. Tell me how I just stuck my hand real quick. I didn't even think twice about it.
$20?
A $20 crispy $20.
$20, you guys. Hey, but not even thinking.
I feel like that guy lost $20.
I need those $20 for gas, man.
He was looking for that.
He wasn't homeless, he was hungry. There's a difference.
The amount of homeless interactions that I had in that spot, because you're just sitting out there during the day, and you know downtown Miami is just insane.
There's a lot.
It's such a blend, because you're literally by the ports. Like, I don't know if that's why, but you just get such a blend of random characters that stroll about the streets.
That's one thing I liked about being on the water and everything.
I saw a dude chug a liter of Coca-Cola. The whole thing in one try, just didn't even burp, didn't do nothing, just kept it in and walked away. I was just blown away. I was like, this guy needs to be on
Only
America's Got Talent or something. That was the Florida man that we hear about in all the news.
The Florida.
He went home to his pet alligators. Being so young and just seeing that side of the world just kind of really opened my eyes, and then it kind of raised my standards as a person, you know what I mean?
It's good that it happened at such a young age, you know?
17 years old, and you're seeing all this shit. And then, when you get to the aviation world, and you start seeing the people that are traveling on these planes, especially us that we work in the private side of things.
Yeah.
You know, if you work in the airline side and then you work on the private side, it's two completely different things.
Ball game,
it's two completely different things. I mean, they each have their pros and cons.
Like airline, you see a little bit of everybody, you know.
Listen, here's what it comes down to. In the airlines, you're in there for the benefits. Like you're in there, to somehow retire with that airline and just use up all your buddy passes. That's like 100. You ask 10 people that work for an airline, why are they there? The 10 of them are gonna say the benefits.
The benefits.
That's all it is.
Travel or discounted something, and like that, you just get really good benefits working for an airline.
You ask the people that work on the private side, why do you do that? For the tips. It's just for the tips, and then the networking abilities.
Yeah,
that's all it is. The access, and again, it's all about having that access to these people. And who is more powerful than the people that can afford to fly privately? I think that, and then the people that own like mega yachts.
And it's crazy. These people will literally come and fly to a beach that's 20 minutes away that they could drive to, and it's just to take their dogs to the beach, and you gotta load all this crap up.
That's the worst.
And fill it up. You gotta fuel it up. You gotta get paper iced coffee. You gotta get news. You gotta get all this stuff. The flight attendant's gotta set all this crap up.
Can we just talk about who the hell is drinking that coffee?
That coffee is so disgusting.
Who is drinking this?
Everybody does.
Why are we making this?
Listen, I will speak because I have to change that coffee machine and fix the freaking one in the front all the time. And when that one goes out of order, out of service, guess what? We have to go all the way to the back and get the one in the line room.
Listen, I personally, in the 4 years that I did that, never once cleaned the machine. I never saw anybody cleaning it.
Except until I started working there.
I never saw anybody not even just like kind of rubbing the dirt off of it.
Let me tell you how that machine stopped working. And all I did was take a paper towel and take out the little thing and go like this with my finger. Put it back in. The machine rebooted and started working again. That's how long it didn't want to start because it didn't want to start like a fire or anything. It was a hazard at that point.
And then that just goes to show you the length that.
But hey, these people with this money they're drinking it.
There is no way in the hell that any one of these rich people is putting their lips to that bean water that they call coffee. There's no way.
There's no way.
I'll bet my bottom dollar on that. That coffee is there just in case.
The coffee is there for the crew.
Those crew, man.
Just in case what you're gonna.
No, you're good. I'm so glad you brought that up. Well, let's talk about pilots for a second. You want to talk about the crew? Let's talk about these pilots. These guys, have they just lost the will to live? What is it about flying in a tube through the sky that just takes your soul away? You look at these guys' eyes and it's like looking into a shark. It's like no soul. There's nothing behind there. What's going on, dude?
Think about it. Their vacation is going home.
I think it's something about flying rich people in the plane all day.
Yeah, I think that takes it.
And it's like you want to be in the back, but you're in the front. Same plane, you know, and then you see the I want to say the dumbasses, but you see the intelligence of the people that fly on these planes and how rich they are and how much money and control and power they have, but they have nothing up here, and that has to drive you crazy as a pilot, I'm guessing. So like I kind of feel for them, but it's like, dude, if it's 6 a.m, why are you barking orders in the line room about your plane? Like, dude, we all know the deal. We all know how this goes. Just come in, say good morning, and walk out to your plane, bro. The stuff will get there. I promise.
Like, see, I get having to feel like they feel rushed and all that. Like, I get that because like I had to get boats ready and stuff, right? And you have to get it done in a certain amount of time and all that. So like, I get that they feel pressure and stuff, and they got the broker calling them, and they got this person calling them, and they got these people calling the front desk. I get all that, but you don't have to talk to people like that. If you talk to them nicely, you'll get your shit way faster.
Oh my god, it's like some of these guys come in like if we slept with them or something, we didn't call them. They come in with just this attitude, and it's like, dude, coffee, ice, papers, bro. It's been the same for the last 300 years, bro. We're gonna get you the damn coffee and the ice and the papers.
It's ridiculous because like when you work for the private side, like you tend to deal with a lot of contracts and stuff, so you get a lot of like the same pilots, the same groups, and like certain people, like you already know, okay, this company's coming in, they just want paper size coffee, panel set negative.
Right.
You know, like you don't have to ask them, and they know you don't have to ask them. So you say, oh, you need services? Yeah, let me get the works. And you know GPU, just by the size of the plane and everything. So it's like...
Man, especially these like big companies like FlexJet and NetJets,
that's what
and all
I'm
these
talking
things.
about.
Like,
it's
everything is so standardized for these guys. It's like showing up to an office job for some of these guys. They just show up, do the thing, get on the desk. You know what one of these pilots told me one time? He's like, oh, I get in the cockpit, things get small, and then they get big again. I was like, really, dude? That's it? That's all you got? That's aviation? Things get small, and then they get big again.
That's crazy.
I was like, all right, dude. I mean, you're freaking soaring through the sky, the miracle of flight and all that. No, none of that counts.
I feel like a lot of them lose the excitement for it, you know? But there's still a lot of them that have it and carry it, like, you know, they carry it with them, but it's hard, as like you said, especially watching people in the back, and you're just like...
Now, let me ask you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's possible at all to be able to maintain any kind of healthy marriage as a pilot, somebody that travels for weeks at a time? Like, the basic schedule as a pilot that I know of is 7 on, 7 off.
That's a basic schedule, but if
you work a week, you take a week.
Yeah, if you just work for private people, you have to fly on call.
Yeah, absolutely. If you just fly, if you're just some guy's pilot, but that's rarely the case. Like, a lot of those guys will fly for the airlines on their off time, or they'll have other gigs. Like, they're not just waiting for Joe Schmo to fly.
Well, I'm talking about the Joe Schmoes that like charter their planes out, but use it for their personal matter. So they have like more than one, but you get me? They make that guy fly it. Like, okay, I'm not flying today, but you're gonna charter this.
It's
plane
still an on-call thing. Like, you're still on call. If that guy wants to fly, then you gotta fly.
Or if he books a charter right there, you're flying. It doesn't matter. Like,
and it's crazy how the same thing translates. So the same way that you can ask a line guy, why does he do the airline? And why does he do the private side? You can ask a pilot, why are you in the airlines? For the benefits, for the job security. You're flying the same 15 legs every year. Like, nothing's changing.
Yeah.
And your paycheck ain't changing either. And then you ask, well, why does the private pilot do it? For the experiences.
For the connections.
For the connections, because you're gonna fly to all these exotic places.
A bigger paycheck.
Yeah, and then you're for the chance of a bigger paycheck. The paycheck sometimes isn't really the case.
Is the key word there.
But you can get picked up by somebody, and then if you're starting off as a pilot, you're more likely to start off with some small like private airplane company, flying trips to the Bahamas or something.
So that's where you work your connections with meeting other pilots and talking crap and the crew lounges and stuff like that.
But then you get the guys, right? Because then aviation's like a big revolving door. So you get the guys that go into the airline and then they get too old for the airline. So the airline kicks them out. Now they got no choice. So they end up going to the private side and working for a company like NetJets that has people with walkers flying their plane. The guy has a walker coming into the plane like, I'm getting there. Oh shit. It's so serious, yeah. Like the geriatrics that they got flying these planes.
Don't say that.
That's dead ass serious, bro. Hey, I'm not connected or affiliated to that company whatsoever. So I can say for 100% they have geriatrics flying their planes. You know, Godspeed to anybody
I mean, you
flying.
see them on the street protesting, you know, it's not a secret.
Oh my god, that's so true. These guys were out there. No, it wasn't protesting. They couldn't call it that. They called it informational picketing.
Oh, informational picketing.
How
you gonna call it?
If that isn't the most corporate fucking word I've ever heard in my life.
All you tell me is, babe, these people literally got in a van, and more people came out of that van to trade places with them. They're taking shifts. It was a corporate like thing. It was hilarious, yo. Informational picketing. Can you imagine getting paid $120,000? That is like lowballing it. Like honestly, it's such a lowball for a NetJets pilot to be making 120. I'm so sure they raise it up to like the 160-ish, but we'll call it 120. And complaining about it, and just like being so mad about it that you have to stand out there in the middle of the hot sun and wave a sign around. But then again, you have to take into perspective, they're never home with their families. All the crap they get from their wives.
For sure.
Like you said, do you think you can have a healthy relationship being a pilot?
I don't think so.
The only way you can be in a healthy relationship with a pilot is if you are a pilot yourself.
Now that I have seen
or a steward or whatever. But now flying the same plane or not, just somebody that understands the lifestyle, because just like that, you just have to have that. You have to have somebody that understands, like, you're gonna be gone for a while. You're gonna come home, but you're gonna miss each other sometimes, and it's just the distance and having to be able to. And pilots are used to that because they try to have relationships and do all that. So if another pilot meets another pilot, even though they're not on the same plane, they don't feel any different, you know. But does it take a toll? Yeah. Think about how many of them they meet all these people, they build these connections, and then it doesn't work out because I can't be there. I wouldn't want to start a family with somebody that's never around. Like, that sucks. My kid's never gonna see you because why? Because you have to go to work?
Right.
That sucks.
It does suck, but not suck hard enough to be standing out there in the sun. At least not for me.
No.
I'd send a Zoom call video saying that I'm pissed off, or I'd send a letter or something, but I'm not gonna stand out there in the sun for hours on end.
Yeah, no,
It was such
like, I get it, complain to your company, do what you gotta do, but like, what is the rest of the world?
And then we saw all the same people just show up the next day for work, like it's all good. Like,
that's why they were rotating shifts in the van.
I'm like, what is this, dude? Like, what kind of display of just like
they can't get replaced
arrogance? Yeah, I thought that was so dumb for them to do that. Like, just of all people, I understand some like rinky-dink mom and pop company, they want to go on strike because the conditions suck. But it's like with NetJets, dude. Are you kidding me? Those people are catered to.
Yeah, but like even like a big corporate place, like there could be like messed up things, but like pay is not really that kind of topic to go picketing and that kind of thing, because you're not getting paid badly. You're getting paid really decent compared to everybody else in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, you are flying. You're taking care of people's lives when you're up in the air. That's a whole different thing, but you signed up for that with that paycheck. So yeah, I agree they should get raises, just like everybody should when they work hard and they do their jobs and all that. I do believe in that. Or bonuses here and there, whatever the case is. But you can't expect them like, I demand $200,000 a year. Like come on, be realistic.
Hey, they can get paid whatever the hell they want to get paid. The point is that
not picketing outside.
You can't really like say no to this, because every day it gets easier and easier to fly these planes, and that's a fact. The computers are getting so advanced on these planes that they're damn near flying themselves. The guy just shows up, turns on the engines, and presses a couple switches, and he just sits back and waits.
Just make sure the numbers are right. Make sure he has enough fuel. Make sure the weight's not off.
So it's becoming more of a knowledge pay scale. Like, we're paying you on how much knowledge and responsibility you can hold.
Yeah.
You know, like how do you handle yourself under pressure and stuff like that? Like that's where it's coming at.
And yes, you're obviously trained for emergency situations, but
I mean, you have to be right. So we want to go. All right, they're trained for emergency scenarios. You know how many freaking 400-pound pilots I've seen? Like, you think that guy, if the plane's upside down, going nosedive at 30,000 feet, that guy is going to be able to rescue you, pull you out of the seatbelt if the plane's drowning? Basically, what I'm saying is there's few things more spoiled than an NetJets pilot. You want to talk about that? What is the funniest friggin' thing that you've seen working on that front desk?
The funniest thing I've seen.
I can only speak from my experience of things working out on the ramp and like the craziest shit that I've seen. But I want to hear about you and working in the front desk, because you see the people right when they come out of their cars, like fresh into the world.
What I see is the normal, like, man, we gotta get all this stuff, but that's where we come in automatically. We call you guys out there.
So rich people struggle with their documents too, just like it's like everybody else, right?
Now, when it comes to, okay, that's the thing. We don't look at documents. So if you fly private a lot, you already know that.
Right.
So you don't even get them out or anything until you meet your pilots. So we don't know names or anything. Are flying on that thing until like a charter company.
Do you know the amount of times, and I can't even tell you, like I can't fit it in one hand for sure. It's more than a dozen times that the people have shown up to the plane, but got all the bags in the plane. They were damn near like stepping on the steps already, and the pilot's like, "Can I see your passport?" And they're like, They left their passport at home. Like, dude, you were flying, bro. You were flying. Like, have you ever been to the airport without your passport? Like,
that has not happened.
That's happened so many times, man. And then that's the beautiful part about private, right? So that happens to you on the airline side. You're flying out and you let your passport, bro. You're done.
You're done.
You're done, bro. Like, you're done.
Good luck. You're not getting a refund. You're not getting a new
Not
flight.
on the private side. Everybody's got to wait. Everybody's got to wait. Like, if nothing happened, they just got to go back to their house. They could take an hour, 2 hours.
They can go stop for lunch. It don't matter.
The world is on pause.
I want to depart at 7 now.
Yeah.
Like,
the world is on pause for them. And that's just like, that's the amazing thing about that.
If you were supposed to be on a certain plane because that plane has another ride over here, they'll just find you a different tail number, different plane, different aircraft.
Oh my God, yeah. And it's insane. Like,
And now you have to unload those bags, right? Right? That's what you guys would have to do.
Uh-huh.
One, we got a tail change, and you would have to park the plane. You would have to tow the plane that was going out next.
Hell no, we ain't towing no place.
We do that.
We're just loading everything up into a van or something, because you got to take the catering and all the crap that was in that plane. You got to move it all to the other plane. So you got to just put it in a van. I'm not gonna move the entire plane.
He works harder twice.
Why are you kidding
hold on,
me?
pause. We're gonna go down this road real quick. So you're telling me you put all the stuff in the aircraft, right? Then they get a tail change.
Right.
So you take all this stuff out and put it all in the van.
Then take it out of the van.
Then you take it out of the van and put it in another aircraft.
Right.
Okay. Now this is what we do.
Right.
Got booked a charter, you pull that plane up, and you just transfer the bags over.
Well, okay, but I'm saying that okay, so I understand what you're saying now, but that would be like in a perfect scenario where you have room to put planes next to each other. In reality of it, ramps get so busy that you don't have that kind of space.
Oh, during slow season,
to just be doing that. And then you want to talk about, it's just to like tie it back to being a valet guy at 17, driving expensive cars and that responsibility. They have 20-year-olds towing $1 million aircraft
it's so
up and down this like hot ass ramp.
I did not believe how young people were. And
you can be fresh out of high school, get a job at an FBO, and then tow an $80 million aircraft in about a month. Like, it could just happen like that. The amount of responsibility they're just willing to throw and liability on people, it's insane.
Well, and isn't they, like, you drive all those, like, fuel trucks and stuff like that, like, you're learning all that
That's another thing. Like,
at 18 years old? Like,
why am I driving a friggin' 100,000-pound truck without a CDL?
That will blow up if it gets too hot.
Thank you for that. Why am I driving a 100,000-pound bomb through a hot ramp?
Can you tell I had my fire safety course?
Let me not say the word bomb, because that's like sensitive with the airport.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. I'm sorry, I just flicked your whole lip. But it's like they got you driving this huge truck full of fuel, no CDL, no training.
Okay, but you know why? They used to give CDLs.
Yeah, some FBOs still do that, where they'll give you a CDL.
Why did they stop?
Get your CDL.
So you literally get a job at an FBO. You get your CDL license within a month. you quit that job and you go work in trucks. A lot of
they
people
thought
are
about
doing
that. So, but Signature, what they do is you have to give the company a year. So I know for sure Miami International, their truck drivers, because they drive 13Ks, you know, they have to have a CDL, and they go outside the AOA, so they're driving out there. So those guys, if you're gonna be a fueler, and that's just what you do, then you get your CDL with Signature. They pay for it. They pay you to go take the tests and all that stuff. You get your CDL, which is a freaking gold mine. If you get a CDL, you just have to give them 1 year with the company, which is nothing. Because that goes by like that, and you know demo that goes by like that.
A year like that, and then that's why you gotta look for jobs anyway.
Now, I don't know. I have not heard of anybody leaving. Like how do they
that
pay
process goes
when you leave? Like, do you keep your CDL? Like, how does that go?
But that's what I'm saying. They stopped doing. A lot of places stopped doing it because people would just stay the minimum they had to stay and then leave.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to go take courses and stuff. And now they're doing all this.
Yeah, but it's only fair if you're gonna be driving all these huge trucks. Then you need a CDL, man. You need a commercial driver's license. You're getting paid to drive this truck.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. But at least like make it easier for you to go get that CDL license. And I'm like, okay, if it's $4,000 or $3,000 for the regular person who has never drove the truck, if I have a year, 3 years experience, let me pay $2,000, $1,000. You know, like take something off because I have the experience.
Yeah. No, I mean the experiences that you get working on the ramp is a little bit of everything. Like, you're a mechanic. You're a fueler.
No, you were a mechanic.
Well, maybe I don't know.
Not everybody gets taken advantage of.
I don't know if it's just Signatures, FBOs, that everything just breaks all the time. But I can only speak for Signature, and like shit just breaks all the time. So you're always fixing something. Something's always breaking. You're always trying to just go about your job and just do your job, but the equipment just doesn't want to work. Like, you know what I mean?
I've had just like really like shout out people at the desk.
You've had people like throw tantrums in the front desk?
Oh yeah. So that happens, but that's kind of like normal.
That's normal.
Okay, so that's not like weird.
Like, if we're at the damn Waffle House, it doesn't matter how much money's involved.
You either got pilots yelling at you because the service is taking long, or you got passengers and stuff. And
I hope that this podcast reaches any pilots out there, guys. Please stop yelling at the damn people that have nothing to do with nothing there.
We don't control the weather either. Can we please make that clear? Like, you guys know the drill, like crew members, you know how it works. It's at every FBO. We can't go on the ramp when it is lightning.
Here's my favorite part, right? The pilot, here's my favorite pilot. The guy that comes up to you with a $20 bill tucked away, like, yo, my mans. If I get slipped into that fuel line a little earlier, that'd be appreciated.
Okay, you just say okay, and then you get to them when you get to them.
Get to them when you get to them.
Like, you don't get to skip people. And people get to do that at the bar too.
Yeah, but that's the beautiful thing about aviation, is that nobody can rush you, because you can always say like, oh, I don't feel safe, or this is a safety concern, and nobody's gonna question that. Like, if there's one thing that they care about in aviation, is the word safety. Not actual safety, don't get that wrong. Actual safety goes right out the fucking window. It's the word safety and the illusion of things being safe. Yeah. That's what they care about right there.
They care if it looks safe to the people flying out on the planes. Like, what happens to their employees, like, it's another story. Like, if I didn't see it, I'm not going to say anything. But if I see it, I have to say it.
If there's any, like, pilots out there that fly for these like sketchy companies, if you want to come on here anonymously and just talk shit about your company, dude, I want to hear it.
We'll change your voice, whatever.
We'll make you look like the 60 Minutes thing where they just put you in a shadow and they give you the deep voice.
We have a lot of costumes, so our kid loves to dress up.
We'll give you a little Hulk mask, bro. You'll be straight. We want to hear those stories, because we know that there's some sketchy shit going on in these companies. We've seen it just from our side and working in the private sector.
Every job has something sketchy at it. It doesn't matter what you work. You can work at the office, hospital. Every job has these moments. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, this is supposed to be the safest thing. When I was growing up, this is all I thought. Oh man, you worked here, you had to be on point, you had to be this. Yeah, right. What about how many times have you had to defuel plane.
Defuel, take fuel out. Signature doesn't defuel. Maybe they'll give it to like a Big Sky or something.
Yeah,
or another
that's
company.
what I'm meaning. But like, how many times did you guys have to call somebody to come defuel a plane because
Oh
there
yeah,
was a mistake?
couple times, man. A couple times, like people overfuel.
And it could be on the person getting told over their rank. It could just be a miscommunication. It could just be the pilot's on a new aircraft and completely forgot, and then realized that once he saw the oh shit, the map.
You know what you just reminded me of? I can't say this guy's name, but you know him as the guy that wore the short shorts. Remember to his first day on the job? This guy showed up with like running shorts, like thigh-high running shorts to his first day on the job.
I think so.
Right, so this dude, he ended up replacing me in Orlando. After I left Orlando, he was the one that took over my spot.
Okay.
This gentleman pulled up to a Beechcraft Bonanza, which if you know what that is, that's a regular, just a prop plane. This gentleman pulled up with the Jet A truck.
I know that song that I don't feel.
He just pulled up with the Jet A truck. Nobody on the ramp thought to ask what the hell is like, what's going on.
What's going on? First of all, I have gas.
So they, thankfully, you know, aviation, they thought about this. They knew some guy was going to try this eventually. So they're like, I know what I'll do. I'll make the nozzle too small. So you can't fit your Jet A hose in there because it's too small. So you're going to know that something's wrong. Yeah, not this guy though. What did my man do? He just waterfalled it. Just let it waterfall. Like he was just waterfalling it into the.
He was bartending in the plane.
He fueled that plane. I think it was about like 50 gallons. He put like 20 aside on that thing. He went to both sides. He did both sides.
He did both sides.
Nobody stopped
Unit
him.
1, no supervisor, nobody saw a Jet A truck at a prop plane.
I remember one time I was all the way at the end of the ramp and I just took a seat. I sat down because I was tired. And the guy went on the radio like, hey, the posture is not very professional. So, dude, you saw me from freaking 400 yards away and you can't see a Jet A truck parked right in front of you fueling a prop plane? That was the funniest thing I had ever heard. Like, dude, how? Because I figured, like, oh, there's so many stops. There's so many safety protocols that you have to break before you do that.
The amount of stupid crap that happens at an airport. Okay, so the craziest thing I've seen was when the fire extinguishers went off.
Oh my god, how could I possibly forget about that? That should have been the first thing you said.
I know, I completely forgot about it, but we had so one of our hangars, there was like one of the fire alarms went off.
If you guys know the hangar fire prevention system, if you guys know what that is, I'll put like a clip of it somewhere, but it's basically when the whole hangar will fill with foam in like 30 freaking seconds. It just happens.
If you don't know what it is, it looks like a foam party going on at the airport to the point where people were calling us and asking us if we were hosting an event. Our phones were off the chain.
Yo, man, that was hilarious. So we worked across from each other, so across the runway, so I could see their FBO from my FBO.
So
it looked like there was clouds on the ramp. I was like, what the hell's going on? Where somebody left the hangar door open.
Mind you, I just started working here.
They left the hangar door wide open and triggered the fire alarm. Next thing you know, it just starts pouring foam all over the ramp. And this isn't like Dawn foam, like safe for ducks. No, this is very corrosive and like chemicals that extinguish fires. This shit was getting everywhere, all over the planes, all over.
Apparently, it's not corrosive to vehicles and aircraft anymore. That's what they say. There's like a new thing in it, and we had to like send people like a whole.
Yeah, the corporate statement. I don't want to pay for this shit statement. Duh, we all know that statement.
Have you ever?
Like, oh, this one's actually safe for the ducks.
Have you ever read the landing cards? The bottom of the landing cards?
No.
Well, you can't rent. You can't take the crew car out for a longer period of times because what they were doing is they were taking it and racing the cars, street racing them and stuff like that. Like
you're street racing what, the Nissan Altima that they give you up?
They were just doing the worst and doing donuts, burnouts, and that's why you can't have the cars.
Pilots were doing this?
Apparently so.
That's hilarious, man. Pilots
don't care anymore. They're trying to make the car fly, you know.
That's insane. But I'm sure that whole like not corrosive thing, that was bullshit.
That's what was crazy. Okay, it was like coming into the sliding glass door, and I had to like fanning out, and it was just so much. And like you went outside, and it was just you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you.
I'm gonna include the clips that you sent me from that day because that was hilarious. All right, so let me ask you, what would you rather be, a flight attendant or a pilot, if you could choose, and why?
I don't know.
Can we get the Jeopardy music?
I think for me, like I would like to be a pilot. 'Cause I think that would be cool to see all the stuff and just sitting there, but I can't sit still for a long period of time.
Oh, so, yeah, and you gotta sit still.
And you gotta sit still, and that's
you can like stand up and stretch.
That's
or
not me.
But
I'm the type of person. I take over your party. If you're hosting, throwing a party, I become the host. You become the guest at your own house. So it's like I'd be better as a flight attendant.
But the flight attendant thing is like it's so weird. Like some flight attendants think that they are pilots. You know what I mean? So they feel like they demand some kind of like respect or something, but
some of them come up and order everything, including the fuel, and then the pilots will come up and they'll go to order the fuel, and she's like, "Oh, I already did that."
Yeah, I was like, "Well, who the hell asked you to?"
And they look at me and they're like, "How much did she say?" You know, like they question it because hello, they're the pilots. They're the ones that need to know their mouths. Like it doesn't matter if
it's
you
okay,
know.
the flight attendant got it.
Like at the end of the day, nobody's talking to you on the air ring. They're talking to them. Like they gotta know what's going on, not you. You shouldn't be ordering nothing for them. Order your stuff, and that's it. That's why they don't order any of your stuff unless you ask them. Hey, can you order my paper place coffee and catering?
Yeah, but then there could be like a flight attendant that is just good at their job and not
helps.
trying to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And they just make your life easier by just knowing what the
you
hell
have
they
to
want.
talk to the people you work with. That's all about communication with your team and stuff. Even though your team switches out, you remember who you're flying with, and you'll remember who to do things with, because that's kind of rotated. And
that's a tough gig too, because they really don't get paid as much as pilots. You know what I mean?
But you get tips.
But you get tips, and then that comes with the same like kind of networking abilities, because you're back there with the customer. You know,
when you're with when you're with customers on that line, you are a bartender. You are their diary. You become their friend.
Yeah.
But you're their paid friend. So they come to you, they talk to you, they know you're not gonna go say anything, but they can vent to you. They can, they know you're gonna be there for them, especially if they're a good boss or they're just good to you.
Yeah.
And then they'll also be like, "Oh my God, you take so good care of us here. Like, can you come host at my party? I'm having a party. Can you just come host, just serve some wine and stuff?" And then you become one of their friends.
Or if the Joe Schmo decides to buy a plane, now you're his personal flight attendant.
Or you're her friend, yeah. So, but you become their friends. Like they start inviting you out and stuff. You know how many times like they pay for you guys to go out to dinner and stuff, and like they'll just, "Oh, come on, we'll take the team out," and the crew only gets to go because they flew the plane.
Right.
But it's all because she made the impression or he made the impression, the flight attendant. Because if they didn't have that good history, they're not going to invite you guys out. Because you only get 5-minute interactions with the pilot before and after.
And like a lot of people don't realize that there's many levels even within the private aviation world. Not all private jets are the same, and not all money is the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's guys that they're flying private, but they're living paycheck to paycheck, just like, a regular person would be.
Yeah.
And then there's guys that are so far out of the league of normal people that their life doesn't even seem real anymore. You know what I mean? Like their entire life would be catered to them. Like it's insane. They go from driver to plane with everything on the plane. There's no hiccups. There's helpers and employees and assistants.
Glass salt shakers.
Oh my God! You want to talk about the glass salt shakers? You guys want to hear a story that just proves how money makes people and the whole world move around? So we're getting the plane ready, right? We're getting all the catering ready.
Wait, just so I can just tie who. Are they the same people with the dogs that you have to say hi to first?
No. This gentleman, he comes from the pet insurance money. So he owned a company that provided pet insurance and stuff like that. So very well-known name in that FBO. So he was a frequent flyer there. So every time he's there, you know what to do. Whatever. We're getting all the catering ready. The flight attendant comes through, and the lady starts checking all the boxes, checking everything. And she just starts freaking out. She's like, "No, this can't be right. This can't be right. Something's going on." And we're like, "Well, what's going on? What's going on?" And she's like, "These salt shakers. What's going on with these salt shakers? They're made of plastic. He's not going to have that." The guy does not like plastic anything. Not plastic bottles, not plastic plates, none of that. So, of course, his salt can come from a plastic salt shaker. This lady starts freaking out, She ended up getting in the crew car, driving to the Walmart across the street, getting 2 glass salt and pepper shakers, and bringing them back on the plane. The guy showed up, business as usual. This guy probably wasn't even thinking about a damn salt shaker, but the flight attendant already had that in mind. So like that's like being proactive for sure. But it's like, damn, dude, how crazy is this guy that this lady wouldn't even take the chance of him? I would have been like, well, sorry, you got plastic, bro.
She probably got yelled at about it before.
Oh yeah.
That.
Oh yeah.
Or horror stories from the flight attendants before that. But again, welcome to customer service.
You gotta make it happen.
You always have somebody like that.
Yep.
And you gotta go above and beyond for your people.
Yep.
It makes a difference. I had 500 people request me to be there at events because I helped the ladies take off their shoes when it was raining, or I helped them get their jackets so they didn't have to wear. It's just the little things that you can do as a nice person.
Yeah.
No, everybody can do this.
But that's like just you doing it out of the kindness of your heart. That lady did it out of fear. I saw the fear in her eyes. And babe, I'm not even kidding. So that was just one interaction. These people, like I said, they fly all the time. One time the plane just wasn't ready. They weren't ready. They were freaking the fuck out. They were freaking out getting everything ready inside. They show up in the car. They just drove right up to the plane.
But who let them in?
That's the thing, right? We had to, because as soon as they show up to the gate, there's no, just tell them to wait a little bit. No, that's not an option.
No.
It's open that gate.
You just send somebody, oh my God, hey, how are you guys?
Not the case.
Trying to talk to them.
These people aren't interested in talking to you. They don't even want to see your face. If you're not smiling them and then guiding them to where they got to go, they don't.
It's just one of those.
It's one of those. So they get out. It was him and his wife. The lady gets out. I open the door and I'm like, ma'am, the plane isn't ready yet. So you can't go in right now. The lady looked at me and just said, no. She just said no. Like, I don't accept that statement. You want a person right now. Just walked clean through me like if I was a ghost. Just went right through me and just went up the plane. Just went up the plane. They didn't care if they were ready or not.
I bet you that they were all like,
yeah. Everything's good. Everything's good here, ma'am. Everything's good.
Oh, what do you mean he told you it wasn't ready? We're ready.
Man.
They haven't put the carpet down for you guys yet.
Suddenly,
and now it's always thrown back at the people that work at the FBO.
That's like a perfect analogy for aviation. It's just a huge game of hot potato. Of just throwing the responsibility from one person to the other. When something goes wrong, it's all hot potato.
It was their fault.
They just go down the line like, was it the pilot? No. Was it the people that take care of the plane? No. Was it the line guys? Was it the FBO? Like they just go down trying to just put that blame on somebody, and that's all it is. They just have to put the blame on somebody just to get to the next problem.
And you get put like in aviation, you have so much responsibility on your shoulder. Like we're talking all this bad crap and all this stuff too. Like there's good, there's bad, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes with the job.
Oh yeah.
Like, I have to sign for packages, I have to sign for food, I have to sign for DoorDash orders and liquors, and that's one thing I don't like, is we should not be giving our IDs for flights alcohol, because we're not serving the alcohol. We don't know what's going on in that plane, and we're responsible for those people. So if they trace that alcohol back, it comes back to us. Yeah. So that's a big thing where it's always an issue. And
people don't realize when you're dealing with these like high-end companies flying private, there's a service rep that is like dedicated to you. Whatever you need to make that experience whatever you want it. Like, I need a car there. Like, first of all, that's already set with these big companies. Like, you're gonna have a driver to pick you up, take you wherever you need to go. But if you need somewhere to stay, if you just need, my toddler crapped his pants, and now I need a new set. You're gonna have a whole outfit ready for you when you get there. You get me? Like it's those little things that is like that's why you're paying 6 figures for a trip.
Yeah.
You get me? Like that's why. And then it's all a bracket thing. Like for us, it's spending 6 figures. For them, it evens out to what we would spend on a regular airline flight.
What was your favorite part about the job?
Favorite part about working in aviation? Just being outside. Like I just like being out on the runway and just watching planes take off.
That's really cool. I don't get to see all that, so like I'm inside more than anything. But I loved all the little animals that come through the FBO. We get so many puppies, and they don't care. Okay, listen, these puppies own the FBOs. Okay, they don't come in on their leashes. No, some of them do, But they come right over, and I don't even know a dog's in there. They'll come right up and just start licking my leg, and I'm like, oh, hello, little friend.
If reincarnation,
I'm sorry, Lilo, I'm not cheating on you. She got mad. She jumped up. But they do that.
But seriously though, if reincarnation is real, I hope that I come back as a rich person's dog. Because God, those dogs live the best lives.
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen that movie where the dog gets his butt perfumed?
It's the best life. Those dogs just like they just show up and they just go through life like, well, that's super rich.
Oh,
no worries. They got the dogs have helpers. Have you ever had like the canines, the cop canines?
Oh yeah, all the time. We have them a lot, all the time, and we have like the firefighter department come a lot, and a lot of the ambulances, because aviation's not just, private side's not just about the glamour. That's where people who are getting serious surgeries and stuff fly in and out of.
Yeah, medical flights.
That's flights true. And all that.
You want to talk about medical flights for a little bit? Like, what, have you ever seen some crazy shit on a medical flight?
I mean, we've had organ transfers.
Transfers. I remember one time I saw a NICU and they had a baby inside of it getting. That's what they're called, right? NICUs or incubes or something like that. Like the transparent containers had a freaking baby on it. Like I don't know where they were taking them. We've seen like older people, you know, like usually if you're taking a flight somewhere, it's pretty freaking bad.
Yeah, if you're taking a medical flight. Anyway. Yeah. And
but those are the medical
really
flights.
Sad thing is like the last medical flight we just had, like we don't know, the guys came in and they were like, oh, we have we're not gonna need a stretcher. We don't need our stretcher or anything, so we're just gonna walk the kid through. And we're like, oh, the kid? And they're like, yeah, he's 16 years old, I'm like, oh, okay. And we're thinking he's gonna come in like a wheelchair or something. And no, like he's looked normal, looked healthy. So it was something way worse.
Yeah, that sucks. That does suck. But you never have to go through this. But during COVID, the medical flights, they were treated like if it was like patient zero coming through here. Like it was a whole show with like the masks and the people in like the radioactive suits. Like it looked like Monsters Inc. I was like, what the hell's going on?
You didn't get no clips of that?
Nah, man. You think I'm gonna film in the ramp? Like, no, that's reckless to do, especially somebody's medical flight.
Says the man that when he was hot and fueling, he put a cardboard box over his head and looked like Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story at the Pizza Planet.
I'll put that picture up.
Yeah,
I'll have to find that picture.
He'll put that picture up with the Toy Story one next to it, so you guys can compare who wore it better.
I'll see if I can find it. I don't know where that picture might be. It might be deleted. Who knows?
Deleted. I'll find it.
Yeah. And those are just like the measures that you have to go through. Just you're out in the sun. There is nothing hotter and drier than an airport.
And that's another thing. You're out on the sun and you don't realize it. You don't realize it when you're I'm just gonna go out to the ramp. Like it's hot out there. These girls out on the ramp need to be wearing sunscreen for sure.
Guys, if you just started working on the line, please, for the love of God, just invest in some sunscreen
and sunglasses.
I remember. Do you remember when the tips of my ears started getting crispy? Like I could literally just like break off a piece of my ear.
It wasn't that bad.
It was so bad. That's what it felt like. I felt like I had lizard skin.
Okay, wait. It wasn't that bad because if I chipped off his ear, then that would have been bad. I kiss his ear all the time again. Not a good sign. All right. Good sunscreen, I agree. Yeah, that's important.
Invest in some sunscreen.
Because they have sunscreen there, but it's like this freaking gallon jug that looks like
They have sunscreen?
Yes, it's always on the sink. There's dish soap, and then that's blue is the dish soap. The white stuff is sunscreen.
So I've been washing my hands with sunscreen this whole time? All right. That makes sense why my hands are just always like white. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there are days where like every room you walk into just smells like jet fuel after you leave, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. So if you just started working in like the line or in an FBO job, get used to the smell of jet fuel.
Yeah, it's strong.
Get used to loud noises and just losing some of your hearing. It's gonna happen.
Wear hearing protection, even if you're out there for 2 seconds. Man,
it doesn't matter. You're gonna go a little deaf for sure. Like it's just very little you can do.
I'm not even saying that. It's just like even if you're just going out just to help real quick for something, like your job is inside. and you're just stepping out there, grab those earplugs that are right there by the door. They're there for a fucking reason. Yes, you're gonna lose your hearing, but you're protecting it even just a little bit.
Right, but then you start putting that shit in your ear, and then you just get the dirtiest ear holes ever, and then you're pulling out freaking potatoes.
That's lying, guys, because you guys are constantly.
You're putting them in and out and in and out,
Yeah.
and dirty hands and cleaning it. Like it's not a healthy environment at all. So definitely
get your own
just invest in. I know they're not the best, but the earmuffs, you know what I mean? Like they're just uncomfortable to carry around. Like if you wear everything you're supposed to, you look like RoboCop out there. You know, eventually you're just like, dude, forget this. I'm just in the shorts, the vest, and then the minimum.
I'm trying to convince them to change the rain gear, because your guys' rain gear, you know, it's just like a regular yellow hoodie. And
Right.
I think you guys should have the rain gear from Chick-fil-A. All right, they have the best rain gear. You can fuel. I'm trying to convince them. I gotta go to corporate with
There's
this thing.
no way in hell you could fuel with that thing on.
Yes, you can. You can unzip the window. It unzips.
And what, your hands come out?
Yes, yes. And then you can do your paperwork inside the box.
Nah, no way, dude.
I swear we're gonna pull some pictures of that too. Don't worry. I'm gonna show you.
I definitely get used to that smell of jet fuel. Like, do you remember every time I would come home and just reek? And then you can't wash your clothes with all your other clothes.
No, you have to wash it separate.
Wash that shit separate.
And I'm not just talking about you have to take the vest mainly, and wash it.
The vest is where
separate.
everything splashes on. Yeah.
Because the shirt, if you wash your shirts with it, it will still smell like jet fuel.
Hey, come give me a hug, babe.
You get lightheaded.
Yeah, if you're not used to that smell, it'll put you down.
If you have kids, that's especially babies, you don't want to go straight to hugging them when you get home from work or anything.
Absolutely.
Straight to the shower, take those clothes off, whatever you gotta do.
Yep.
But that's also why they tell you, wear your gear, wear your protective this, that, and that way you have your clothes and you can just.
And then we can sit here honestly and talk crap about the aviation world a lot, because you see the funny people that work there, and then the fact that everything is a job eventually. But I think, in my opinion, having all the jobs that I've had, that has been one of my favorite jobs, just because of the amount of responsibility and just the cool shit that you see, man. Seeing planes take off on a daily basis, that never gets old.
Between that one and the yachting lifestyle is definitely, and it's not because you're around people with all this money. It's just because you can hear the experiences that people are going to do. Yachting, you get to go on the trip, so it's a little more fun rather than sitting at the FBO and doing it. But again, you don't have to be on actual trips where you're going to the Bahamas or anything. You're going just right out there.
Yeah, it's a little charter boat for.
Yeah, you're just going over there, but you're experiencing people and their moments, or getting married, or going to a big deal, or sometimes something very sad. You see people in their natural states. In traveling mode, you can't hide that. One
thing I never understood, travel mode is real.
There's gotta be a fight.
You are. It's insane. How are there people that are upset showing up to a private flight? From my eyes, I'd be so psyched, right? It's such a cool experience. Private plane, it's a party, la la la. These people are just going through life, man. It's if you and I show up to a flight at Southwest flying coach. We're just pissed off. It's early. They're tired.
That's where the difference becomes the line and the line people and the CSRs. The CSRs get to hear everything go on. You guys just see what you see what's on the ramp. But we hear the stories between the pilots talking to the other pilots about this and this and this person and that person. You hear these stories. And you're not even talking to them. It's just there. This one guy really upset me. Me and my friend are both mothers. And this guy comes in with his wife, and he has 3 beautiful daughters. This little girl is 3 years old, give or take a year. And he said, you sit down because you're not nothing right now. You know that you're nothing. And just started scolding this girl.
Oh my God. I'm sorry that I'm laughing at that, but that
it
is
was
ridiculous.
so bad. He was like, you're such a bad child, and just yelling at her loud. And the mom is just sitting there, and you can just tell, that's normal.
If he's doing that out in the open, imagine behind closed doors, Yeah. You think a 3-year-old remembers any of that stuff?
Joey remembers just Spider-Man's birthday.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think 3 years old, 3-year-olds definitely they're already remembering shit.
We can sit here and talk aviation, customer service all day, but we're not gonna do that today. Okay, we gotta save some for the next episode, you guys. And you know, if you guys are crew members or flight attendants, stewards, or anybody in the customer service industry that wanna just chime in, give us some of your stories, let us know your insides and outs.
Yeah.
Come join our channel for a day or something. We can video chat you in or whatever works, you know?
So you think that'll do it for episode 2? We're good?
I think we touched a lot of topics today.
Yeah, we did.
And we're those type of people that we're going to continue to touch a lot of topics like that. And we're kind of just giving them like a background of what goes on at these kind of jobs. But we haven't really got into all our experiences. Like, you have stories of how you watch things get fucked up, how you almost make mistakes. You know, like, you have stories from everything that we can dive into, and other people's experiences and stories that we want to hear about, or even things that you guys have questions about, and any kind of customer service related thing that we can help you guys, maybe give you advice on some kind of situation, especially if you have conflicts with coworkers. I'm very good at handling those and stuff like that, in a good way, you guys. But we can help with advice, or just being like, you know, let's say you're training people and you want to know how to train people, like, we can help you point them into the right direction.
Talk a little bit about aviation, but there's so much more to talk about and so many more different areas to cover.
Aviation's a big world.
Aviation's a big world and then a small world at the same time.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of The Quick Turn.
Quick turn!
Quick Turn! Lilo!